This is EP3, Speaking the Truth in Love, and I just come on for a few minutes to give you guys a word of encouragement. If you like this video and you want more content like it, like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share. Y'all know I don't talk about a lot of different stuff, but I want to talk about a few things that just really get on my last nerves. And it's dealing with race. I'm just going to put that out there because I don't really talk about that a lot. One of the things that I've heard most of my life, and it aggravates me so bad, is you're not like a lot of other ones. And it's like, what does that mean? I'm not like the other ones. I mean, number one, all black people are not alike. We're not supposed to be alike. We don't all come from the same kind of background. Um, and if you don't know a person, you really can't say what they're like. You don't understand. In order to get a clear understanding of people, you need to understand their background. You need to understand their life experiences. And a lot of people, a lot of black people have some really tough life experiences. And so that aggravates me that, first of all, you want to group everybody into one group. It's not fair. It's really not fair to say that someone who can speak intelligently, someone who can think for themselves, someone who carry themselves in a certain way is not like real black. I mean, I don't understand it, and it irritates me to the core that somebody would say something like that to somebody. And the other thing about it that aggravates me is the fact that they think they're giving you a compliment when they say that. And I know I'm not the only person who have heard this over the years, but that's not a compliment. You don't put my people down by saying I'm not like them. That's crazy. I am like most of the people in my family. I make some different choices than some of them, but I am like my people. My environment is what made me who I am. So to say that is to say that there's something wrong with where I come from, and it's not. Everybody is different. Everybody handled their life circumstances different. That's all that is. So another thing that I don't like that, and I've heard it so for so many years, over the years, I it just really aggravates me when I hear somebody say, "You're pretty for a black girl. You're pretty for a black woman. You're so pretty. Oh, I just can't believe that you're that pretty to be a black woman." Really? Listen, black people come in all shades, from light bright, as I used to say when I was growing up, to dark, pretty smooth skin. And we all have something beautiful. Every black woman has something beautiful about them. And to compare one to the other, I don't think that we should be compared to one another. And that it goes back to slavery. You know, my looks, my full lips, my well, I don't have a big nose. I have this little small flat nose. Small flat nose, or somebody else's bigger wider nose, or somebody nose with a whatever, that make that person who they are. God made each and every one of us. And to say that you're shocked that somebody is dark skinned, somebody that's black, regardless of what the shade they are, is pretty and you're surprised, that is not a compliment. And I wish people would really stop saying that, because you give women complexes, especially if they didn't have someone in their family really like giving them confidence as a young kid. And a lot of people, regardless of what color they are, didn't have that. You know, another thing I hate to hear people say that's not a part of our group, a part of our ethnicity. I hate when they say all black men are not good fathers, good husbands, because that is not true. You have good people. And I personally know some black men who do everything they can for their families. And to put those men in the same category as any other man that don't do what they do is not right. And I believe it need to stop. Because statistically, black men spend more time with their children than most other men do. Go look it up. See, there's this narrative that's out there that to basically continue to tear us down as people. And we ourselves, we need to stop buying into this too. We need to stop buying into everything that some other groups say about us. Because everything people say about you is not true. And that's one of the things that I know is not true. Now, I personally did not grow up with my father. That's a whole nother story. But I know I have a lot of friends who grew up with their fathers. And their fathers did everything from the time I can remember all the way up, even into this day, and we are in our 50s. And their fathers, the ones that are still living, do for them. It's simple things like, to somebody else it might be simple, but simple things like, if they call their daddy and say, hey, I'm broke down such place, and they don't have AAA, their daddy get in the car, I don't care where they at, and come check on them. You know, we equate a lot of things with money, with prestige and all those things. But love, concern, and taking care of your family is more than all the money in the world. Giving your sons and daughters self-worth, giving them confidence, teaching them how important education is, and all those different things is worth a lot. But I'm going to tell you what's worth even more than that is living a life in front of them for Christ. And I know some men that do that for their families. And I know some men that go above and beyond for their families, for their wife, and for their children. And not only for their wife and their children, but for their mothers, for their aunts and uncles. Just genuinely men, black men who truly believe in family and community. And they do things not for money, not for praise, not for any of that, but just because they genuinely love the people that they love. And it aggravates me that so many people will group everybody. Are they perfect people? No. Nobody in this world is perfect. The only perfect being there ever been. Only perfect being there ever been. Only perfect person there's ever been that's ever walked this world is Jesus Christ. Okay. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox because I can go along much longer for that. But the other thing, one of the other things, well, I'm on 3. The fourth thing that aggravates me is the assumption that black women can't get along. That's not true. Now sometimes it is portrayed that way, like in the media and on all those shows, those reality TV shows, and sometimes even at work in everyday life. But the truth is, black women do when it really come down to it. When it really come down to it, we can rally together, and we can take care of ourselves. We can look out for one another, and we've come a long way. You know, you gotta think about like our mothers and our grandmothers. A lot of them didn't have opportunities, and the ones that did have opportunities, it was during a time where it was only going to be one or two. So that started like the bickering. But in today's world, black women can get along. And it's like we understand each other. We understand the plight. You know what I'm saying? No two people gonna be exactly alike. But when it comes down to it, the black woman know how to get along with other black women. And I just want that to be put out there in the atmosphere, like we don't like ourselves and we can't get along with anybody that look like each other. And it's been out there, that narrative has been there so long till we will look at each other a certain way. And I want to talk about this part of it because I want us to stop doing it. We are not going to automatically, as soon as we see another black woman, go to sizing them up, thinking that they're out to get us. We're not out to get each other. We're all trying to do the same thing, and that is survive in this world. That's it. That's what we're trying to do. Now, you have some that's trying to live for Jesus Christ, and you have some that's not. But ultimately, we're all trying to survive. We're all trying to figure out the best way to do life. That's it. But we're loyal to each other. We're loyal to who we're loyal to. The final thing, it's not the final thing, but the last thing I'm going to talk about in this particular video that I don't like about what people say about us. Black men and black women don't love each other. Sometimes things just don't work out right, regardless of who they would have been with. Sometimes relationships just don't work out. But when you really look at life and you really look around and see the people that you know, there are a lot of people that have been together for 15 years, 20 years, 35 years, 40 years, and yes, even 50, 60 years. Now, I know a lot of times we say nowadays that, people don't stay together that long. But I'm just going to use myself as an example. I was married for 28 years. And the only reason why I'm not married now is because my husband passed away. In other words, the Lord saw fit to take him home to be with him. But I know several couples that I grew up with. who are who were together when we were in high school and who are still together now. Did they have the perfect relationship? I'm sure they had their ups and downs, but at the end of the day, 32 years later, 30 years later, they are still together. They have raised children. They have some of them have grandchildren now. You know, look, stop feeding into and believing every negative thing there is out there about us. And people that don't look like us, stop coming up to us saying stuff that you don't know anything about, because you don't know every black person in America. You don't know every black person in America. You don't know how long these people been together. And the ones that did break up, you don't know why. Sometimes, just like anybody else, sometimes life just brings division. Look, listen. The fact of the matter is the Bible is right. The devil, he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And just like he stole and killed and destroyed something in one community, don't try to do it in another community. This thing is, we have got to get beyond just looking at people and automatically assuming the worst about that group of people. And this is Black History Month, and I know there are certain people who don't want to celebrate Black History Month, don't want to celebrate the accomplishments that a lot of people have done over these years in America and around the world, as a matter of fact. But the fact of the matter is there are good people in every nationality, and there are people that need some discipline in every nationality. So let's stop with all the divisiveness and learn how to come together and be the United States of America, the melting pot that we say we are. Stop being so predictable, because a lot of this stuff is predictable. It's nothing new. It's the same old thing done over and over and over to different people. And I'm going to tell you, like I've told people that I know in my everyday life, baby, it might be hitting my household, my community right now, but eventually it will come to you, because you reap what you sow. And if you sowing hate and discontent, sowing racism, sowing all the isms, eventually that's what you're going to get back. And it may not be you, but it'll be somebody in your family, somebody in your friendship, somebody that you love and you adore, and it won't feel good. So stop walking up to people. Oh, I'm going to give you a bonus one. Stop walking up to black women trying to touch their hair or their skin or whatever it is. Stop just walking up to people touching them. And stop going up to folks' babies and stuff. I'm going to tell y'all something. Now, I know I was an overprotective mama. I'm an overprotective mama now, but I was definitely an overprotective mama when my kids were young. Because number one, I truly believe that all children are a blessing from the Lord. And for me, it was no guarantee that I was going to be able to have children. God blessed me with those children. God blessed me with my 3 sons, point blank. Now I am not a cursor, but I can give you a look and I can tell you something that make you feel like this. And I can't tell you how many times each one of my boys, that I had to get a certain type of person out of my baby's faces, breathing all over them. Stop doing that. If that's not your child, if that child is not in your family, or if that person didn't invite you over to look at their baby, don't just be walking up to strange baby. I don't do that. Most of us don't do that kind of stuff. I done seen a few people, but for the most part, we don't do that. We don't just go up to strange folks' baby. Now, as much as I like little babies, I'm not just going up to somebody's baby, and especially a baby under years old. Don't do that. Stop doing that. That irritates me, and that irritates most other black women. But a lot of times we just try to be nice. But I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I'm saved, I'm sanctified, I'm Holy Ghost filled, but I was not nice when it come to that. I was probably rude. I didn't curse anybody out. I didn't yell at anybody, but I would tell them, look, back up, get off my baby. You can look at my baby from over there. Don't come. And I meant that. But anyway, I'm off that soapbox. This has been EB3, Speaking the Truth in Love. Listen, let's be respectful. I said all that this whole video is about. Let's be respectful and mindful of other people's feelings, their space, and what we're saying. Because there's a lot of things that a lot of people can say that's of different ethnicities that can say about another group of people. And it wouldn't be right then, and it's not right when you do it to us. Anyway, this has been EB3, Speaking the Truth in Love. Be blessed, be a blessing, and I am out. And if you got any kind of comments, drop it in the comments. But again, let's be respectful. Be blessed. I am out.